flotation tube always comes folded up. It's one of our unique feature benefits is our flotation tube is very robust. It's very well made with double stitching and overlaid webbing at every panel that's fastened together on the cover. But the interior of this is it's an RF welded plastic that's repairable in the field, and I got to tell you, I've never had to fix one in my many years of diving them. However, I've not tried to puncture it with a spear gun or a lobster or anything like that. I'm sure it's happened. One of the best features is this boat valve. All of our competitors, and you need to make a big point of this, all of our competitors have a Schrader valve or a toy tube valve that you got to blow into right there. And that's more important when you got to deflate this. When it's time to store this thing away, quarter turn push of that little valve, you fold this tube up and get the air right out of it. You put it right back in that gear bag. That's a super nice feature. You know, this is a 38-foot boat and we still get crammed for space, even with 4 people on it, which is a typical family. But here's the way you put it together. You just lay that baby out. You always check the main zipper on the inside where we put these together it's doubled over. Right here, that zipper pull is buried behind the start point. That's so the zipper never has a weak point. It's doubled up right there. Make sure that pull's always jammed right inside there. When you, we have a inspection procedure at the factory that when the guy is packing that gear bag, he double checks that pull is pushed away. If that pull is left out, you go put a bunch of pressure in this, it'll start unwinding the zipper. So that's a really good thing to look at when you're unpacking the bag for the first time for the customer. And we'd love to hear about it if it ever did happen, because it shouldn't with our procedures in place. Alright, so this is spare gear. Move that out of the way for a minute. Bag stays there. Here's the setup. Yeah, let me. Heat hose stores away down in the battery tray. With the VS, you just grab the batteries. These are totally dry cells. They're sealed to about 30 feet of water pressure, so the saltwater doesn't bother them. You slot them down. First, you put them in the correct way. The contacts are right here. They're spring loaded, and they're all, you know, completely.
Act 3, Mariah calling.
I just turned that left knob down. You just shut the lid, take the dry cap off, find your flagstaff, put your flag back at full staff. A little room there. These just close fit. And at this point, this is called your heat hose. So there's a little mesh filter in here, and at this point, every so often, you just grab that little guy out. Sometimes you'll find a little Teflon tape or stuff just kind of floating around in there, and you can wash it if there's anything cruddy looking on it. But this one's in pretty good shape. Clean that little filter off. It's all hand tight, O-ring sealed, and just screw it back together. You come around here, you find your flotation tube valve. This is the inflator adapter. So we screw that in there, and then you just press fit the O-ring portion of the male fitting of that quick release swivel right in there, and then you just flip this guy on. So there's a time delay on that. When you flip that switch on, the thing's got some self-checks going on, and then it's like a 30 or 40 second time delay. That's what that, watch, see how it waits a second? Just gotta loosen these up to make the next step a little easier. I forgot to turn that quarter turn relief loose, so we're gonna do that one more time. And now you can take your time doing it. And we put this extra kind of seal cap on, locks everything together. Just get the inflator adapter stored up under there. It stays right there. At this point, we're going to take the batteries back out of the Brownie. You know, a tough guy can move this thing around with those batteries in it, but I'm at that point where I want to do things a little easier. So, I'm going to take the flagstaff off, move the Brownie right here. At this point, I've got to thread this heat hose down through the center of the unit. And then I'm going to lay the heat hose right down in the middle. These large side buckles go to these large quick release snaps there. The small ones are on the opposite ends. So turn the unit around like that. You start with these little guys. And this is all identical on the gas powered unit. They all have these same strap arrangements. So anybody that already has a gas unit is pretty much used to operating the same. Yeah, these extra straps out on the end that Abby's looking at, these are for beach diving. If you were to beach dive, you would coil up all three of your hoses and lock them into one of those, so that before you go out through the surf zone, you don't have a ball of spaghetti around you. You just wrap them all up in there, have everything connected and dry. And then you get in waist deep water. Once you get to where you can swim, then you deploy the hose and drag the Brownie offshore with it. It makes beach diving a lot easier to do it that way. Otherwise you end up with a lot of hose floating around. This unit tends to sit a little high up out of the tube right up until you put the batteries in. Now there's two ways to do this. Sometimes if it's not easy to get the Brownie from the deck of the boat into the water, you'll leave the batteries out. Put the Brownie in the water first and then reach over the side and load the batteries. Because then it's really light to manage. I mean, right now this thing weighs about 30 pounds. Once you put the batteries in, they weigh 25 pounds a piece. So you're adding 50 pounds. And there's a technique that when two people do it, it's not bad. And I'm going to show you guys that right now. So I'm going to load the batteries. and we're going to launch the unit. The first thing we do is we put the staff back on, and we put the 60-foot main hose on, and then Abby and I are going to launch the unit off this. No, we're going to go up that side of the boat. So we got the tagline on that side. So Brownie there. I'm probably going to come more or less right where Mikkel's at. And so at this point, we find the heat hose. And we're just going to hook up one end of that hose. We're going to leave that other end open. And we're just going to let it sit in the floor. And at this point on this particular boat, I always like to make sure that since it is a pretty high gunnel boat, you got plenty of floor room. Because you don't want your feet to come out from underneath it. No, if I can have that hose, Abby, I'm going to leave it right on the floor. And I'm going to grab a chunk of that hose and put it in my hand right there. Hold those tank racks down. At this point, what you really want to do is make sure this side of the Brownie stays parallel to the side of the hull as you're lowering it down. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So right now we just push it out, kick it out, and you just slide her down to the water. And at this point we turn it on and we step it away. Kind of go hand lining it out, and if you do a good clean setup at the beginning of the dive, the whole dive's fun and organized. So you're going to burn about 2 or 3 minutes of your battery setting this part of the dive up, but we'll let the unit kind of just free flow and get your hose organized. Partner at this point is finding the Y divider or 2. Yeah, we're gonna go 3 on the first run. Yeah. So 2 divers. Yeah, you can go ahead and hand me that one from mine, I guess. Yeah. And just go grab a third one out of that 285 QE bag up front. Alright, I got these while you're doing that. Just grab one more complete rig out of the 285 bag. Please. One of y'all will grab me that other 20-footer. We'll snap it on right, yeah. And hold that if you don't mind. Those are some great looking boots you got there.
Mutually buoyant.
Yeah, no doubt, and very durable. Yeah, I got a few friends that's what they always have in.
There's a little bit.
They didn't actually have quite that same color scheme.
Yeah. Looks good in pictures underwater.
You got a rag on that one. Your hose over there? Yeah. Cool. Alright. So the trick right here, when you get this tree going here with 3 hoses on it, you want to just keep pushing the kinks to that side, not that side, right? Alright, so at this point, the next step we're going to do is get the weight belts squared away. But the first 5 minutes in the water, we want to figure out if you're overweighted or underweighted, so we don't get too far from the boat before we make an adjustment. So we've got to fit one of these up to each of the first set of divers. Ready? Just reach your ready. Come all the weight up off the ground. This commercial diver comes in and he says, look man, I'm going to be down there 5 hours every day cleaning and hull cleaning. He's probably going to want this rig. It's a injection molded back plate. You can place lead in these 4 different pockets. You can also have releasable lead, just like the Brownie belt if you want. And it comes with D-rings on it, so you can hang his tools and things of that nature. And this is the 6 cubic foot bottle, but we make this with the 13, the 40, or they can put a full aluminum 80 on, or a 63 on the back of this. We've got a set of straps, tank bands that go right through these slots, so they get dual tank bands back there. And they can cradle a 40 or a 63 or an 80 right on there. So if you run across a guy that pulls props, he might want a 40 back here. We've sold quite a few of them that way. And then this is the way I really enjoyed diving with the scooter.
So you could technically use that just for scuba.
No, it's just a regular
It's like a
backplate.
pad.
A miniature scuba kit. Yeah, and it's got this pad on it. And we jam life rafts or surface markers up inside there and store them away, so if we get lost way offshore, we got some extra flotation with us. We've got a life raft that actually, a full 6 foot life raft that fits up inside there.
So you can add more
For offshore. Yeah, you can add a pile of them if you need to. It just comes with these, and these shoulder pads move real easy. You can thread it. But this is that Halcyon cinch system, so the cool thing about it is it's one size fits all. See how the webbing flows through the back plate? You don't have to undo the tri-glide there on all the, like all the other plates. So this will literally fit a 300-pound guy or a 100-pound little person. Yeah, it's really comfortable work diving on the Hookah, because you can tie the Hookah in up high or down low if you want it. Cool thing is, you just thread. If you want to tighten your shoulders up, you just pull the waistband. And it's got a crotch shaft as well. So if one of you guys wanted to try this, you can try it out right now. This has a quick release, a quick adjust crotch shaft.
just use it.
Cool. So if we let you get into this, then we branched out and just started building some fairly normal products too. And kind of took what we learned in tech diving and applied it to recreational. And when you see some of the more modern Halcyon VCs, you'll see they just make diving easy for even average single tank people, because they balance the diver so well. And they streamline. So this back plate is out of the Halcyon line BC called the Traveler. There was one, we built a BC for the traveling tech divers that weighs 5.8 pounds. Because they were tired of paying airline fees for stainless back plates, right?
So lighter than aluminum backplate.
Yeah, and it has the feature of being able to put these block weights in. So anywhere in the world you go, you can put block weights. And by getting your weight back up here, you trim the diver out properly. When you put weight down here, you handicap the diver. He's at a disadvantage. He has to swim hard to get up.
Yeah, a lot
this
of
way.
people threat them in here too.
Yeah, and
But then it's
the perfect spot for lead is absolutely opposite of the center of your lungs. That's where you ultimately want the weight centered.